When Daniel first spoke the words, I thought I'd misheard him. We had been sitting across from each other at the dining table, the remnants of dinner untouched between us. His fork clinked against the porcelain plate as he dropped it with finality, his eyes refusing to meet mine. "I want a different life," he said, his voice low but sharp enough to cut through the quiet of the house. I stared at him, waiting for the punchline, for some explanation that would make sense. A bad day at work. A fleeting frustration. But the silence that followed was heavier than anything I'd ever felt. My chest tightened. "What do you mean?" I asked, my voice trembling despite my attempt to sound steady. He sighed, finally looking up. His eyes weren't filled with anger, nor with guilt. They were filled with something worse, indifference. "I'm tired of this marriage. Tired of routine. I don't want this anymore. I need something else. Someone else." The words lodged into me like 1,000 needles. My hands went cold, my mind spinning. "Someone else." I whispered. He didn't answer directly, but his silence screamed enough. In that moment, I realized the man I had loved, the man I had built my life around, had already walked out on me and his heart long before his body would follow. He wanted a different life. One that didn't include me. I could have begged. I could have screamed. But instead, something inside me stilled. A calm I had never felt before crept in, replacing the panic. If Daniel wanted a different life, I would give it to him. But not in the way he imagined. That night, while he showered, I sat in our bedroom and opened the small black notebook I'd hidden years ago. It wasn't a diary, but a collection of plans, meticulous, precise, born out of a fear I had always carried deep inside me. A fear of abandonment. Daniel had just turned that fear into reality, and in doing so, he'd also signed his own fate. I watched him through the mirror as he brushed his teeth, humming, as if what he'd said at dinner was nothing more than a casual remark. He didn't notice the change in me. He never noticed anything unless it revolved around him. Over the next week, Daniel continued his facade of normalcy. He kissed my cheek in the mornings, came home late at night with excuses of work drinks, and scrolled through his phone with a smirk he couldn't hide. I knew there was someone else. I didn't need proof. It was written in his every movement. I didn't confront him. Not yet. I smiled when he lied, nodded when he made excuses. Inside, I was dismantling him piece by piece. I began moving money from our joint account into one he didn't know existed. I spoke to the landlord about transferring the lease solely into my name. Quietly, methodically, I removed him from the life we had built. Our home, our finances, our plans.